G'day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video, we're going to talk about skilling and leveling up your professions between 25 and 50. So we've covered 0 to 25, but between 25 and 50, things will start to change for you and your character. So first thing you'll notice is naturally your gathering profession, if you've taken one, will start to trend slightly ahead of your production profession. This is for two reasons. One, it always requires more resources to create an item than it does to level your profession, your gathering profession. And two, the main reason being is that the abundance of resources, especially if you've taken herbalism or mining, is far more apparent and in your way along the journey than if you were to produce items. That usually requires you to stop somewhere. It usually requires you to locate other items to produce things. And yeah, so we'll start off with just kind of obviously talking about the very basics. So on the gathering side of things, you will notice that certain nodes will no longer give you skill points. So now that you've gone above 25, nodes that you find around the world aren't guaranteed to give you skill points anymore, and all of a sudden you can struggle to raise your skill. It doesn't go up automatically all the time. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's good for two reasons. One, it means that you will still farm nodes that won't increase your skill, but that will give you resources, which is obviously very, very good because you're going to need those for your production profession. And two, it makes you obviously a bit more focused on what you are actually pulling out of the ground, basically. So here we have a node, I believe, if I can see it, somewhere. So it's behind the hippo. I think it's literally under the hippo. Yeah. So there is. We'll find a different one. I don't feel like fighting the hippo. But so you'll still see nodes scattered around the world, and those nodes will still have a chance to drop knowledge for you. So you must still continue to gather with your professions, and you will still benefit largely from that process. There's no real difference in the gathering professions than what you started with. For the most part, what you can focus on really is just identifying where good nodes spawn and obviously trying to prioritize some of the higher priority nodes or the higher quality nodes, as those are where you're going to get your skill ups. Beyond that, there's nothing too much about the gathering profession that will pick your fancy or will be something you can accurately focus on or change to produce a different result. So one thing I will say is that there we go. For example, you will see here that this node now represents as gray. So by farming this node, I no longer gain a skill point. However, I obviously still get experience and I will still get the ore. And this is fine. Obviously, most people would like to gain the skill up, but you just simply need to find nodes that are yellow or orange, and those will give you a skill up. Even green will give you a skill up. But once you've gathered from some of your nodes, your next point of call is to find a station through which to actually activate your blacksmithing or your production profession. Now, most of these will be at the main hubs of each section, so Marikai for the Anaran Plains, and obviously at the Iskara section for the Tundra and the Azure Span. And then if you've made your way to Voldraken or Theldraxxus in Theldrassus, thank you, Voldraken main city there. And then obviously you can go back to places like Obsidian Bulwark or Ruby Life Pools. Generally speaking, most players, while they're adventuring, will get to this point somewhere in the Anaran Plains and the Azure Span, depending on how much you've focused on obviously gathering and crafting as such. Now, those aren't the only places. You can get professions and level them up at a number of villages. Some of them don't have all of them. and some of them do have some of them. So you're just going to have to kind of explore a little bit and find where you can work on your profession. But this is great because it will allow you to continue to gather resources while you do so. Once you have found a place upon which that you can work on your profession, then you can start to level that up. So I think here there are some profession trainers here, perfect, and you can upgrade your professions at this little village here. I'll talk about this quest line as well, but you must keep your eye out for them. But yes, so we're going to go here to the trainer, to the forge. You can see blacksmithing supplies, everything we need. And you can then continue to, as before, work on your skills. So nothing too crazy here. You can see that we have enough to obviously train and work on our items, and we're going to just continue to do so. You continue to just work on your items, raise your skill. There's really nothing too crazy to this, so you shouldn't really have a major problem. For example, we're going to create all. There we go. So we're just going to create one of these for now. We're going to see our skill go up by 2, and then we're going to continue to increase our skills over and over and over and over and over again. And that's pretty much how it works. There's nothing too rocket sciencey to this process. You can work on some profession gear. You can always continue to upgrade your profession gear. It does always help. For example, the blacksmith's hammer. If you can create a higher quality one, that will give you better profession gear. Also, you can help with your gathering profession by doing so as well. Ideally, you want to keep the skill point train rolling as efficiently as possible. So you don't want to waste resources on not leveling up your skill points. You want to try your very best to continue doing first crafts and to continue raising your skill points so that you can continue to learn new recipes, and with those new recipes you can continue to improve your character. Between 25 and 50 is more of a grind than anything else. At this point, it's really about trying to do things as efficiently as possible, and there are a couple of tips and tricks that you can use to do so. So, for example, one thing is choosing the correct specializations. At 25, you will unlock the ability to run through specializations. It's important to read through them and to understand what your specializations are doing. So, for example, I can unlock armor smithing, which is great. It increases my ability to craft at a higher quality, learn new plans and ways to customize the armor that I craft. This is fantastic. However, if I learn hammer control, this will specialize in the art of blacksmithing, which bolsters your ability to use your limited resources economically. And if I read through here, I can see that blacksmithing is 15% faster. I can save resources. I might want to consider taking that if I'm not planning on farming as many resources as possible. If I am planning on focusing on armsmithing, which I am on this character, then clearly I want to take this rank. But as you can see, the more complex ranks do have more specializations in them. This means that you're going to be spending a lot of time in here, and every point of knowledge that you get is incredibly valuable. So you want to make sure that you keep in touch with what you are doing, read through them, make sure you are planning for your end game at this point. You will be able to unlock all of them, but what you invest your knowledge into will be very, very, very important. One thing I can suggest is what you invest your knowledge into with your mining or gathering, as this is going to be a very important source of resources for you. So if you do it incorrectly, you're not going to have a good time. Specializations are super important, but so are also quest lines. There are quest lines scattered around here for the Artisans Consortium. By doing so, you can pick up items which will help out your professions. As you can see here, we can obviously have slightly better items, slightly better pickaxes that we can pick up, and these will also help out just giving you some rep with the Artisans Consortium, which will help you out in the end game. Obviously, if you are doing adventure mode, then I highly suggest that you head to Valdraken. this is going to be much better for you in terms of finding the resources, finding the trainers, and being able to improve all of your items. So yeah, that is, I want to say, pretty much it when it comes to rank 25 to 50. There's honestly not too much more that you need to know. Things in the snapshot, basically try and prioritize gathering as many resources as possible. Make sure that you continue to craft brand new recipes all the time, as this is what's going to be able to help you to really push up that skill and those skill rankings, and continue to learn new recipes so that you can continue to make progress. Once you've done that, you should be pretty good to go. But yeah, obviously, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this has helped in some capacity. If you are obviously interested in learning more about crafting, I will be doing a 50 to 100, and then I will be doing an in-game crafting focus as well. So yeah, I hope this has assisted you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Till then, bye.